Good afternoon. This is just a microphone check.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you.
Do we have a court reporter? Ms. Boulay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Good afternoon. We're now on the record. It's 1 p.m. on Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. This is a public comment hearing in proceeding number 24R-0133E, the rulemaking considering amendments to the Commission's electric rules to implement the provisions of House Bill 23-1137, requiring certain forms of billing credits paid to subscribers of a community solar garden. Can my colleagues introduce themselves for the record?
Good afternoon. I'm Commissioner Tomplin.
Commissioner Megan Gilman.
And I think I forgot, but I am Chair Eric Blank. So close that gap. This hearing is being webcast and will always be live. A court reporter is transcribing oral comments for the record in real time. Just by way of background, the Commission opened this rulemaking in March by decision number C24-0187. Attached to that notice of proposed rulemaking are proposed amendments to the existing Commission rules governing community solar gardens. The NOPR explains that only Rule 3881 is proposed to be revised to include new statutory provisions related to the billing credits paid to the subscribers to community solar gardens. Specifically, amendments to current rules clarify the calculation for CSG bill credits that change annually. A new rule is also introduced for the subscribers. I wonder if that should be the project company seeking a fixed bill credit rather than an annual bill credit consistent with the new statute. Written comments on the modified bill credit rules have been filed jointly by both the Colorado Investor-Owned Electric Utilities and by COSA and SEA. Today we'll receive oral comments, including responsive comments to the pre-filed written comments already submitted. We have read the written comments, and those comments do not need to be presented again orally this afternoon. However, additional written comments are also welcome and can be submitted through our e-filing system or through our website using our online comment form or by sending them to Dora_PUC_website at state.co.us. If using these methods, please specify the comments apply to proceeding number 24R-0133E. Written comments are accorded the same weight as oral ones. Before we start, are there any preliminary comments from my colleagues? Commissioner Plant?
No, I just want to welcome everybody and look forward to hearing the comments on this issue. So thank you very much for participating.
Commissioner Gilman?
Agree with Commissioner Plant's comments. I got nothing to add.
All right. I guess any preliminary comments from any of the parties before we turn to the people who have signed up? With that, Ms. Kitzer, I think you're up. You're first on my list.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. I was going to confirm I did not do a separate sign-up process to make comments, and I apologize if I missed that, but just wanted to indicate that we do have brief prepared comments.
You're first on my list. So
all right, there we go.
Came from,
lucky me.
You're number one in our hearts and minds and our list. So.
Well, good afternoon again, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. I'm Ellen Howard-Kutzer. I represent the Colorado Solar and Storage Association, as well as the Solar Energy Industries Association, or SEIA. With me today is Kevin Cray from the Coalition for Community Solar Access. Mr. Cray is attending as a member of COSA, as well as the chair of the COSA CSG committee. He's available for additional questions as they may arise, but I'll be presenting our comments. So first of all, we want to express our thanks to the Commission for issuing the NOPR and implementing the CSG bill credit stabilization methodology called for in HB 23-1137. Briefly, as we mentioned in our initial comments, the legislation provides CSG subscribers and subscriber organizations choice to have either a traditional dynamic bill credit that changes over time or a fixed bill credit. We note that the bill was negotiated with several key stakeholders at the legislature who have previously weighed in at this commission on the issue of CSG bill credit calculations. We think that this bill has served to resolve some disputes that have arisen in the past, and we think the NOPR has really done a good job of implementing that bill. We thank you for that. Couple things to reiterate that we noted in our initial comments. I'll be brief here. First, we asked for some clarity to make sure that we're tying the bill credit, the fixed bill credit to a project, not a subscriber organization. We want to make sure that that's really clear. The project itself is really what's critical here, not necessarily the organization that owns it. So we think our minor red lines will help to add that clarity. We also suggest the commission establish a process to annually identify the non-bypassable riders that can and cannot be applied to the bill credit. We think that annual process will continue to provide clarity for subscriber organizations as well as CSG subscribers. By adopting this process, we believe that it'll make the rule more durable and recognize that there could be changes to the individual riders over time. The ones that are identified in the statute, may or may not be the same ones that we're dealing with on a moving forward basis as this commission adopts new riders, rolls old riders that may no longer be necessary off. So having a clear process in our minds would allow for that durability over time. Finally, it wasn't clear to us what the commission's intended approach was to recognize changes over time for that fixed bill credit recovery mechanism. We do believe that the statutory language adopted in 40-2-127 subsection 5 Roman 2E calls for a change in the fixed bill credit mechanism over time. In our initial comments, we suggested that may be changed based on overall price changes tied to a consumer price index. That's one approach. We're interested in hearing what this commission is thinking there. We did not see that in the initial NOPR and think that may still need to be addressed. I will respond with some good news now. I think in reading the joint utilities filing, we see a lot of support and overlap for their position with our own. I think there's a lot of alignment here. I'm hopeful that there won't be too many controversial issues. Again, would note that the utilities did support 1137. We appreciated being able to talk with them at the legislature and come up with a collaborative approach there. Look forward to doing the same here. So first, I'd note that while the bill language didn't contemplate making any changes in the commission rules to the variable rate credit approach, COSA-SIA are amenable to the joint utilities suggestion of adopting equal treatment for the non-bypassable riders that are excluded from the variable bill credit as well as the fixed bill credit. So think we can align with their red line suggestion there and have equal approach. We also are okay with the utility red lines clarifying that subscriber organizations cannot pick and choose whether or not they'd like to have the fixed bill credit approach in 1 year and then go to a variable bill credit in another year. We think it's fair to have that be a one-time selection. And so we'd support the utilities proposed approach there. One thing we would note is there's not currently clarity in the red line rules as to the point in which the subscriber organization needs to make the selection as to whether or not they want to pursue a fixed bill credit approach or a variable bill credit approach. It wasn't clear to us if the commission wanted to codify that in the rules. Our position is we believe it's best if that selection is made by the subscriber organization upon COD instead of upon application to the program. We believe the utilities are amenable to that approach. We'd love to hear from them. One thing we note is if we do adopt that approach where selection is made upon COD, it would allow projects that are still in the process of being built to take advantage of the changes that are being implemented here today in the Commission's rulemaking, as well as the statute, of course, passed last year. That is the extent of my pre-prepared oral comments. Here for any additional questions. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. Let's jump to Mr. Mansholt.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Tyler Mansholt. I'm in-house legal counsel for public service. With me is a few folks, and I'll give them an opportunity to say hello. First, I'll introduce my colleague, Mr. Ryan Survey.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Ryan Survey. I'm new counsel for the company. Look forward to participating in the hearing today and future proceedings. Thanks.
Welcome.
Also with me is folks from our, sorry, don't mind muting. Sorry for the echo there. Also with me is folks from our regulatory team, Mr. Neil Cohen here.
Afternoon, Commissioners. Neil Cowan with PSCO Regulatory Policy. Joining me here in the room is Charlotte Huff, who's a policy specialist.
Thanks for allowing us to do our introductions there. And we appreciate COSA's introductory comments. As our joint comments pointed out, I think the joint utilities are generally on the same page that the Commission has done a great job here of implementing House Bill 23-1137. We're not finding large concerns on the proposed rules. And from what I understand, COSA is amenable to our changes. I didn't hear, I don't believe, any disagreement, but Ms. Kuzer could correct me. In terms of COSA's comments, I think the joint utilities, generally ourselves, for our turn, we don't disagree with their comments, including their first proposed change to clarify in Rule 3881B1 that the bill credits are tied to a respective project, not a subscriber organization. And additionally, just more clarification that the riders themselves are identified through the November 15th tariff advice letter filing process. We don't disagree with any of those changes. It seems like the only open issue that COSA presented is the clarification request that they lodged regarding one provision of the bill. And this is the provision of the bill that is Section 42-127E, which regards, as COSA explained, the change of value to the fixed bill credit over time. And it seems like there may need some discussion on that. It's not entirely clear to the joint utilities what the Commission's intent on that provision is either. And we appreciate COSA raising that issue. And so we're happy to have a dialogue on that issue, but it might be best to hear some of COSA's thoughts or the Commission's thoughts, and maybe through that process we could identify whether there is a gap or anything else we need to resolve in this proceeding on that front.
Mr. Davis, do you want to try and do that now in writing? Any advice about how to proceed on this issue?
Well, I would appreciate maybe starting to see whether there is consensus proposal on the sought after clarification. I think that may be a good place to start.
So maybe you guys can talk offline and see if you can submit something in writing along the lines of a consensus proposal. Does that work, Mr. Mansholt?
Yes, joint utilities are more than happy to reach out to COSA and brainstorm if there are ways to resolve any unnecessary controversy, and either way, submit a supplemental filing to the Commission in this proceeding about our thinking on that front.
All All right, and I guess the third one on my list was Mr. Sopkin from Black Hills. I don't know if you have anything you'd like to add.
I'm going to continue with the Kumbaya vibe here.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm enjoying the vibe.
Greg Sopkin, in-house counsel for Black Hills. With me is Devin Moeller. Yeah, no, I agree with everything that Tyler said. You know, the only question we have as to that open issue is whether you know, the CPI would accurately reflect the value of that fixed bill credit. I think it's probably a good idea that we do talk offline and see if we can come up with a consensus proposal on that.
All right. Would anyone else like to present comments today? Ms. Kutzer?
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to inquire if it would be useful, if we're already collaborating offline, to try to come up with some sort of a consolidated consensus blue line approach for commission's contemplation.
That'd be great.
I'll talk with my colleagues offline if that is possible from their perspective, but I think COSA is open to that approach.
Mr. Minchell.
Yeah, speaking for public service, that sounds like a great approach.
All right. Would anyone else like to speak? Commissioner Gilman, Commissioner Plan, any final thoughts?
No, this is, I feel like we should have a parade.
Or an early adjournment. I've been at this for like 4 hours. Commissioner Gilman.
I have no questions at this time or anything additional to add, but I see Mr. Davis on, so I cede the rest of my time to Mr. Davis.
Well, I just say I think we are obligated to adopt modified rules by June 30th. So we need to take this up probably before the end of May. So I guess, Mr. Davis, do you want to suggest a deadline for our joint red line filing?
Yes, that is exactly why I put my camera on. I think it would be useful if a joint filing could be submitted no later than the 24th.
All right. I guess I don't know if we have to vote on that, but I assume that works for you two. Let the record show 2 thumbs up. With that, unless there's anything else, I think we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.